Fighters Rep 6 War Machines. Saturday, April 27th at the Ames Sportsplex in Seal Beach, California. Tickets now on sale at fightersrep.com. Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, I'm here with Richard Leroy, one of the most terrifying fighters I've ever seen, and I mean that in a good way, Richard. First off,
appreciate it.
Yeah, man. First off, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for coming out.
I'm a huge fan of the sport, obviously, and a huge admirer of your style in particular.
Appreciate it.
I don't think there's a human alive that can go to one of your fights and not love it.
Dude, I just try to make it entertaining, you know?
Yeah, I definitely can see that. Has that always been your style? Is that something you learned?
I started as more of like a grappler. I really didn't have any stand-up in the beginning.
You started as a grappler?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So like the first things that I ever did were, I wrestled in high school a little bit. I did pretty well. And then I played football too. And then after that I just got into weightlifting. And I started training when I was like 20. And I was just straight grappler. I would do some MMA sparring sessions and, you know, I'll throw like a couple punches and then just grab the guy and take him down. Yeah. And so that's kind of how it started. But sometimes I would take punishment, you know, even in my fights, you know, I was just like, fuck it. If I got to get hit a couple times, it is what it is. I used to get in fights on the street, you know, and my mentality was, you know, I don't even care if I get hit. This guy's not going to hurt me. I'm just going to grab him and do my thing. You know?
I'm not surprised.
So I try now, especially like the last maybe like 3-4 fights, you know, I've really tried to become a little more technical, like especially with my striking.
Yeah. And
I feel like I've been able to do that hit or miss, you know. Sometimes you train and you feel good and then you fight and you're like, fuck, I don't know what happened. Yeah. And it's all a learning experience, you know.
So you have a wrestling base, but I mean, if someone were to come watch you, I totally thought you were just a striker. That's what I thought.
Well, back in the days when I started, my first camp that I started at was street sports, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and there was a school in Camarillo, which is where I'm from, and I trained there for maybe like 4 years, somewhere around there. Did a few fights there. I got my purple belt from the instructor there, Timmy Bond. And after that, there was a coach there that was teaching striking, and he also taught here at Sityodtong. He taught like an MMA class here. And so he introduced me to Walt, and then just throughout the years, you know, things happen and people go their separate ways. So that's kind of what happened. I ended up here with Walt, and that's kind of how I got the style that I have now.
Not a bad idea.
And yeah, I mean, he's a great coach. Back when I was more of a grappler, I basically gave up on, like, I was like, okay, I can work a little bit of hands, but I was like, I don't think I can kick. Like, I think it's just not for me.
Yeah.
And then I started training with Walt, and he just totally changed my game. Just the way that he teaches, and, you know, he's patient, and he's good at what he does, you know. So I developed that style a little bit more, and we've got a boxing coach here too. Yeah. So
and Walt's a Muay Thai. I mean, strictly Muay Thai.
This is all Walt right here. All these belts right here. So he's well known in the Muay Thai world. Not just here either. In California, I mean, he's known all throughout California, all throughout the States, even in Thailand. You know. So yeah, he goes out to Thailand. He's like a superstar out there.
That's awesome. I mean, you know, you're definitely in good hands.
For sure.
When are we going to see you next in the cage? I feel like the last time I saw you was CXF. Was it against Gabe Green?
Gabe Green, yeah. I'm battling some injuries right now, and I was injured pretty bad when I did that fight.
Yeah.
So I don't want to make the mistake again of starting a camp injured and then trying to work through that. And, you know, you saw the result. You know, I lost the fight, so...
But what an incredible fight, man.
It was okay.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to make excuses, but so I'm not going to say anything specific, but there was a lot of things going on in that camp, specifically like things with my body, you know, and basically nothing worked out the right way that I wanted it to. And I still took the fight, and I ended up having to cut like 20 pounds in one day because I was injured and I couldn't train.
I see.
And so I made the mistake of going into the fight and just turning it into like a brawl, a boxing match, and I fucking lost.
Yeah.
Because I was in my head, I was thinking, you know what? I think I can knock this guy out, and you know, if I do it early, then I won't have to worry about gassing out if that's going to happen. Because you know, my training wasn't what it needed to be. Not because of my camp. My camp is fucking awesome. You know, I have strength and conditioning here. I have nutrition. I have striking, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, all that. Really, it boiled down to more of the injuries that I was battling, and I should have just been smart and not taken the fight. But you know, I've been trying to get that CXF belt for a while.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I think with some losses, you know, your stock kind of rises, and I mean, I've been a fan, but I was cage side for that fight, and I was flipping out. Yeah, I was flipping out. I mean, my heart was racing watching that fight.
I had a lot of fun even though I lost. It's probably like one of the most fun times I've had fighting because I usually bring a pretty good crowd, you know, and he had just as good of a crowd, and so I felt that like battle between me and him and his crowd and my crowd, and I would land something and my people would cheer, and then he would land something and his people would cheer, and I felt the pressure. And just the more I fight, you know, I notice little things like that, whereas like sometimes when you fight you just have fucking tunnel vision and you're just like just gotta do this thing and then get out, and then I can enjoy it. But I'm starting to enjoy the process a little more, you know. So
well, that's good.
It was fun.
One thing I wanted to say about that fight was it kind of makes sense now. You saying you wanted to finish it early because watching it, I was just like I said, my heart was racing. It was like you were hurting him, he was hurting you. I mean, it just felt like at any time this fight was going to end, and you didn't. It was like a coin flip. You guys were just slugging it out in there after a while.
Yeah, we were. I felt like I landed some pretty good shots on him too, and I know he landed some good shots on me, obviously. But
you guys landed some bombs on each other.
He's smart, man. I mean, he knew exactly what I was gonna do, and he did what he had to do. You know, he's a smart fighter. He's a good fighter. He was technical in that fight. You know, I go back and I watch it, and I'm like, shit, man, I was fucking sloppy. You know. But he just did what he had to do, and he got that belt, you know.
Well, you know, you've only got that one loss to your name. Is that right? As a pro?
As a pro, yeah.
Okay.
I had like 10 amateur fights. I lost one fight to Casey Green.
Okay.
And yeah, that's kind of part of the reason that I was so bummed when I lost, because I hadn't lost in so long. I don't mean to sound conceited when I say this, but like I hadn't felt that feeling in a long time, you know. And but I look at it as a good thing, you know, because when you go and you know you're successful in whatever you're doing, whether it's fighting or you know some other career, sometimes you kind of start to like slack off a little bit in certain areas, and then you get away with it, and you think that it's okay. You know, so some areas of my training and like discipline wise, like there's some things I need to tighten up that I learned good lesson there. So I'm trying to just take the positives from it, you know. But I was definitely really depressed for a while because I think I won like 15 straight fights between amateur and pro with no losses, and I finished all my fights too.
And you've beaten people in the UFC that are winning at this point.
Yeah, I've got some decent wins.
So. You know, that's another thing I wanted to talk about. I mean, you're on the cusp. I feel like you're right there on the cusp of hitting the big show.
I'm trying, man. I've had to turn down a couple fights for Bellator now because the injury that I have right now.
Gotcha.
So I'm just waiting right now to get some insurance because I don't even have health insurance right now.
Oh my goodness.
So I got to get health insurance and get my neck looked at. It's pretty bad right now. I already got an MRI and it's pretty bad. So I'll probably need surgery.
Wow. And this was from the last fight?
This was from... It's built up over the years, I think.
Yeah.
I've never gotten an MRI of my neck until recently, but like I have injured it probably 3-4 times pretty bad. And I never thought anything of it because I would injure it and then I would rehab it and I would get treatment and it would be fine, you know. And then just this last time, it was so bad. I spent like 2 months, I couldn't do anything, like 2.5 months probably. I just had like really intense pain in my arms. Like this arm, it felt like somebody just tied a belt around it and was just squeezing it for like 2 months straight. And luckily that pain is alleviated a little bit, but I still I can't take a fight camp right now, you know.
Gotcha.
Because if that happens again, whether it's 8 weeks before the fight or 1 week before the fight, you know, I don't want to be known as that guy that fucking pulls out of his fights.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So
back to your fighting style real quick. I wanted to hit on this. In wrestling culture, there seems to be this mentality of, you know, I'll break him before he breaks me.
Yeah.
Kind of deal. Is that something you brought along with you to your striking, or is that something that, you know, was kind of implemented here at Sityodtong?
Well, it definitely was like strengthened here at Sityodtong because you know, my coach Walt, he's real big on like mental stuff, you know, and so he'll have people come here, and we've had seminars with like sports psychiatrists and stuff like that, and we kind of dip into that stuff, and he's got his own style as well. And I don't know exactly where it comes from, to be honest, but anytime I've ever fought, I've never had an issue with like the mental part of it. I've always been real calm when I fight, and like in the back and stuff like that. I don't waste my energy. I don't really watch the fights if I'm fighting, you know, because sometimes you fight and like, you know, if I know Jalen Turner or Roosevelt Roberts, whoever, you know, and they're fighting on the same card, like I like those guys, you know, and if I see them fight and if they lose, then like I'll get a little bummed out, you know, but I don't want to have that feeling. I don't want to waste any emotional energy before my fight. So I've just always had like a really good regimen, you know, and I don't know where it comes from, but
you were incredibly calm in that last fight, and in every fight I've seen you, and you've been, like you said, very even keel, and I think that's a great quality to have. No?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I've never had that feeling of like freaking out in the moment, you know, like I'm not gonna say I don't get nervous, because obviously I get nervous. That would be a lie if I said I don't get nervous, but I just know how to channel that energy, you know, and let it like work with me rather than against me.
For sure. Well, Richard, I'm really glad we got this update. You know, I hadn't seen you around in a while. I was like, what happened to Richard?
I'll be back soon.
Very
Hopefully by the end of the year.
Awesome. I mean, is there anyone you want to shout out before I let you go, or anything you'd like to say?
Just my camp, Sityodtong, and my jiu-jitsu coach, his clothing line, Forza 300, and that's it, man.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.